right, hey everybody. So today we are making, oh, I just got that all over myself. We are making Texas caviar. So kids, don't be alarmed. It's actually really, really good, and I really encourage you to try it. It's a really cool like bean dip that's for great for summertime. I normally use it with like Tostitos chips or something like that. Sometimes I even take it for lunch. Parents, you're probably gonna love this if you haven't had it already. So let me go through the ingredients first. We're using a can of black beans, a can of white shoe peg corn, a can of whole kernel corn, some apple cider vinegar, olive oil, bunch of cilantro, 3 peaches. It calls for 1 large tomato, but these are kind of small, so I'm using 2 of these, and 1 red onion finely chopped. So I already did the onion because I will cry like a baby when I chop an onion, so I did it beforehand so you didn't have to see that on camera. But I'm going to go ahead and get started, and like I said, I really encourage you to try this if it doesn't sound as appetizing, because I wouldn't eat it when I was younger, and then when I finally tried it, I was like, wow, this is amazing. So, alright, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to move the peaches to the side so I can take the red onion off, just so I can get it right in the bowl. The nice thing is, it basically all just mixes together. So this is just 1 red onion. And I did wash my hands beforehand. Make sure you do that as well. And this is a great summery snack. You want to wait until peaches are fresh, and that's why I decided to do that this week, because peaches were on sale and in the store. Okay, so I've got the red onion in there. And I'm going to put in my 3 things of corn and beans in there, but I don't want all the juices in there, so I'm going to use a little strainer just to kind of help get it through here a little bit easier. Because a little bit of liquid's okay, but we don't want the whole thing of liquid to start with. I'm going to move this a little closer. And you probably won't have to do it with the whole thing, because as you can see, it's really only just dripping now. So I can probably get the rest of that in there. But anyway, I'm going to use this for all 3 of these, because well, actually, this one doesn't really look like it has much, but I'm going to test it out anyway. Oh, there it is. So definitely want to do this, especially because you're going to put the apple cider vinegar in it, and you're going to put the olive oil. So, and like the tomatoes will be liquidy. In general, these are pretty liquidy, so you don't want to overdo it. It's a good thing. Just shake it lightly so you don't want to lose any of it, but helps get the juices flowing. And I'm going to do the same thing with the black beans. The black beans might come out a little bit thicker. And you want to make sure you buy pre-cooked black beans. I normally go for a can because I find it's easier. The ones in the bags, you tend to have to cook them. And the nice thing is this dip is pretty low cost. All of these were probably like 87 cents each. Peaches were on sale this week, so it's a great week to try this. Got a little on the side of the bowl, and that's totally fine. Okay. Got a little of this. Just make sure you clean up your sink when you're done. All right, so we can probably leave those right there for now, and we're gonna cut up the peaches. So I'm just gonna kind of slice right where the core is. Get around the sides there. You want to make sure you're using ripe peaches. So these ones are a little, oops. That's a tough peach. Yikes. There we go. This will do. Got a tough center. Okay. Just gonna move that over there. And you just want to kind of cube these, kind of how you would if you were making like a little tiny apple, like Waldorf salad or something. And then just throw it in there. And make sure you're being very careful if you're using it when you're using your knife. These peaches smell amazing. And I personally think these taste best with like corn or tortilla chips. But you can really eat this with whatever you choose to. Oops. Okay. Make sure you're washing your fingers. or watching your fingers, I should say, not washing. Okay. I'm not sure if that piece is what I'm looking for, so I'm just going to move that one to the side. We've got a few more, so like I said, this is a pretty easy dip to make. These are awesome. Also, this is the last week, if anybody's interested, this is the last week that we'll be doing the or last week for the month of May for the photo challenge. So make sure you get your guesses in for the past few weeks and or this past week, and then the new one was released at 4 o'clock yesterday. So just make sure you get your things in, because at probably the end of the week we'll have another gift card, and the gift card will be announced at the end of the week. We'll probably actually have Joy announce the winner. So make sure you get your guesses in. We've been collecting them off of Facebook Messenger. And don't forget also live trivia this Friday again. I hope you guys are enjoying all of the events that we've been able to put on. Joy, have you ever tried anything like this before?
You know, I want to say that I have, but I've had stuff with corn, but I don't know if I've had it with peaches in it.
Mm-hmm. I think the peaches gives it just a really good summery flavor. A very fresh flavor, I should say. So we're almost done with the peaches. I'm going to make this as quick as possible so that you don't have to just sit here and watch. But if you haven't yet, obviously, you want to chop up that onion really nice and fine. I did it pretty fine, but the finer, I feel like the easier it is to mix all together and eat. But again, it is a dip, so you just kind of get it right in there with your chips or however you want to eat it. So now I'm going to use the tomatoes. I bought the Roma tomatoes. I think these are really good ones for the dip, because they're not as watery as other tomatoes are, but you can use whatever tomatoes you want. I personally think it's more of a preference what you put in there. So I'm just going to throw our tomatoes in there. Tomatoes I always find are somewhat hard to cut because they get all smushy, and then you lose your grip on them. You can smell the corn too from here. So again, kiddos, I do encourage you to try this. Like I said, when I was younger, I always looked at my mom and I said, this looks disgusting, and she never liked when I said that. But I did eventually try it, and now it's definitely one of my favorite dips. I always ask for it around my birthday time, because my birthday is in the summer. So I always used to do it for my birthday. I would take it to work with me as like a lunch side. However, truthfully, it's however you want to do it. But if not, I hope that whoever on here as adults would like to try it, I definitely encourage it. And I feel like this is a pretty popular or common recipe, but everyone does it a little bit differently. So I'm just gonna get a little bit more of that tomato in there. And you'll see in the bowl, it makes quite a bit of the dip, so it's a great party thing. Obviously, we're not really having parties right now with quarantine, but if even you have a little family get together, or some people have been doing fun family game nights or anything, this is a fun thing to add in there. So last thing, just some cilantro. Just gonna chop it up nice and fine. I just try to bunch it together and just slide my knife through there, but make sure to wash your fingers. This is another great thing that just makes it smell really fresh and taste really fresh. And we're almost done with this. so I'm gonna move this just to the back, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give it a quick mix. I've got cilantro all over my hands though, so I'm just gonna rinse that off real quick. And grab a spoon. And just try to give it a good mix. So I probably should have used a bigger bowl, so definitely recommend a big bowl. But just try to give it a mix. Try to go nice and slow if you're using a smaller bowl like I am, so you don't lose too much of it as you're mixing. And then some of the final touches is just a 1/4 cup of olive oil. So I'm just gonna fill that right up. And thank you guys for sticking through this longer version of our cooking, because this one's definitely a longer one than we've done before. And since this is going all to the same place, I'm just gonna throw the apple cider vinegar right on top here. Another 1/4 cup, and I can already smell why this is so necessary for it, because this is probably my favorite part of it. Gives it a really good flavor. So just gonna give it another quick mix. And then I would just pop some chips in there, eat it however you want, but I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for sticking through this long one, and we'll see you next week.